All right, we don't. We're, okay.
Got it.
Hey, this is Dru from CoolCleveland, sitting down with Nwaka Onwusa from the
Yes.
Cleveland Rock
Yes.
and Roll Hall of Fame, and she's the chief curator of
Yes.
operations. So thank you so much for sitting down with us today, and we're just going to talk about a few things, but super excited for you to join us and just let us know about what's going on at the Rock Hall and the cool things going on down there.
Thank you
So,
so much. Yeah,
yes,
for having me. It's
yes.
so awesome to meet you like this. We'll get to face real soon on a bike near you.
The bike. Now I gotta do it. Now I gotta do it.
Yes, yes.
I'm ready.
No,
So
but grateful.
I just think you have such an amazing job. It's just so cool to, and you know, you incorporating art and culture and fashion. So, like, at what point did you even realize this was a job? This is something that you can even, you know, this is a job. Like, it's not like you said, I'm going to school to be a curator, is it?
Right. No, it was not. Absolutely not. So my thing, definitely when I was in school, I thought, okay, I'm going to be a lawyer. That's what I thought. Like entertainment law was something that I wanted to do, but eventually moved into sociology. So I'm a sociologist. Like that was my thing. Education. Like let me go into that. Ultimate goal. Like I want to be a professor. It was not museum studies. My mind wasn't even projected towards like, oh, I can work in a museum and find a career in that. It was not even a thing. So I love sharing my story. If people are looking for jobs, even like whatever you do, there's a lane for you in a museum. So just putting that out there. Like if you love education and you love teaching, you can do that. If you love marketing, you can do that in a museum. If you're a publicist and you're into communications, you can do those things in a museum of your choice for whatever your passion or interest is, whether it's music or art or photography or whatever. I mean, there's museums for everything. So I didn't know that. So I love sharing that. So putting that out to the audience. Looking for a job, look into museums. It was not something I was looking for. Hey, we're hiring. There's a cafe. If you're a chef, we're hiring in the cafe. Like, and you can do that in a museum, like just all the things. It was really amazing. So when I finally, to answer your question, realized that curating was something that I wanted to do, I was working in a museum, not in a conventional position. I started from the bottom, was working part-time in the box office just to get it like, number one, like, hey, it would just be, I was substitute teaching because the education piece was still really serious. Like, okay, I'm going to do that. Like, that's going to be my mainstay.
Right.
But let me get this other part-time job as a supplement to my income. And so I can, survive out here in these streets. So let me work at this Grammy Museum. They're hiring. I knew how to use Ticketmaster. So I was building shows, things like that. And got that job just on the ground level. Ended up understanding, like once I was in that space, and this was in 2008, understanding that space, like, oh, wow. Okay, there's an education department here. There's a this here. I can like promote or apply, like, promoting from within, like, hey, this is a thing I can do. So, I was able to get my foot in the door through the education department. So developing education programs and applying for grants and, finding great schools and teachers to work with in the community. I mean, and opening it up to community, letting kids know that this Grammy Museum, this space, also intimidating. Rock Hall, a name like Rock Hall can be so intimidating. You think like, I don't belong here, but it's like, you are music. We are all music. Music is a part of who we are as a people, as a culture. I mean, it's the universal language. That's the thing that connects us all. So this is for you. Like this space is for you. It's a place of learning, though, a place of inspiration, a place of provoking thought. And so, I learned all those things by just, number one, getting my foot in the door. So getting where you fit in. Truly, I just thought like, look, if nothing else, I'm going to see a dope show here, or I'm going to be around, excellence and brilliance and genius. And like, I want to be around that kind of energy. I want to be around music, something that's changing the culture, shifting things. And to be around that and see how music moves, and it's just so inspiring. So I love to be in a space of learning, you know, and that's also just working in your flow, working in your passion, where you can continue to learn, create, innovate. So I had no idea, number one, what a curator was when I started, or what do they do, and or even that I could be one. Right. So you know, I'm inspired by just, you know, having great leadership and having people who believed in me, to push me forward and to challenge me, to challenge my damn self, you know, and to challenge my own insecurities. It's like, you cannot do anything, but you have to win. You have to excel here. You have to learn.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of the journey in a nutshell.
No, that's dope. I love that you're even telling people, and that's what we try to tell our younger people. Or they think they just see it and you're here tomorrow, right there, boom. They don't realize you have to love it first. I mean, love it. And your energy was just busting off the screen right now. And love it, and, you know, be willing to get in the ground level for it, like you just said. I just want to be around excellence. And that's how I feel about doing some of the things I do. I do some of the stuff I've done, but I'm like, I'm here though. And I got to see Snoop Dogg, Pinky Finger, anything. Right. Just to be there. And so people have to realize you have to really love it and have that passion. So I'm so glad that's what you're saying. That's very cool. Very
Thank you. No, it's important. Yeah. It's important. Because then everything else will follow, like all of the research and the academic and all the other structures of how to build and do, like all of that, you'll learn, you know, I've learned. But yeah, you have to be passionate about what you're doing to make an impact, or what else are you doing?
They just think, you know, and money's not going to get it all the time either. So
no, it's not. No.
Yeah, unfortunately. So when I first started going to the museum, maybe about 10 years ago, the gallery was kind of just more still and just mannequins and, you know, like a museum. Now I find it's a little more interactive, like the Greatest Show on Turf. We talked about that. Super interactive. It's like I love that wall from
the Infinity Wall from the weekend.
Oh, that was, I actually went back to that twice. I was like, I gotta get some more selfies with this. That's just gonna be cute for my profile. But so what from before, when I mentioned 10 years ago being a little more still to now, what changes have you made? What's your influence has been on some of those changes?
Oh gosh, I think definitely the changes that I'm introducing. I mean, by the time I got to the Rock Hall, too, like a lot of the interactives were in place as leaders in like the music museum space, like the garage. I don't know if you got to the third floor or if it was even open, because we just reopened it again, maybe as of a month ago, but July 1st. A month ago. Damn, it's already August. Okay. Yeah. So it's open now. And so that is really immersive, where you're really getting an opportunity to touch the instruments while you're learning and diving deeper into, you know, why an instrument is played a certain way or why it sounds a certain way and the structure of keys and all that good stuff. So it's really immersive, like, and you get to make it your own. So that was something that I love that was already there. But what I'm bringing to the table definitely is always going to be diversity first, and thinking about, you know, uncovering or just telling stories and looking at things in a different perspective. I have to say we were, you know, fortunate to live through a time where we're seeing like a whole new wave of our own civil rights last year, and through pandemic and having to sit still and watch it, and really tap into yourself. And so we were all in our own ways curating through COVID, you know, so I will say, I was curating through COVID and produced this exhibit, the social justice exhibit. I feel like that is a change, you know, to see an actual message being told boldly, specifically. It's like the first thing you see when you start your tour in the Rock Hall. And it's like, hey, we want to make a bold statement. Like, we're not standing down from this. Black artists have been telling the story of,
Right.
you know, equality and all of this from the beginning of time. Like, we've been singing this, and that's where the title was inspired from. It's been said all along, like,
Right.
you know, so like just to address things head on. Even this week, we're opening an exhibit on August 6th, celebrating Janis Joplin. Like, the Rock Hall, we've never had an exclusive or exhibit or solo exhibit just about a singular female alone. It's always been like a part of a collective exhibit experience. So, you know, a woman, not to say that we've excluded women from our narrative, but to have like a singular show, like Janis Joplin, 50th anniversary of Pearl is this year that we're celebrating, which is, I mean, her voice is just so powerful and profound, and she's important to the narrative of rock and roll and blues. And we're getting to celebrate her. And so I'm like, okay, like, we haven't told that story, or we haven't had Black photographers featured in the Rock Hall. That's a thing. We're doing that literally for the first time in a really significant way through just the exhibits that we're telling or showing, and just the way that we're conveying our message and how we're, you know, I think it's also just a new way of how we're designing. So it's just a different interpretation. So it's beautiful to hear, you know, the reaction that you had to going through the biggest show on turf and like feeling that energy. Cause I'm like, if we can feel it, and if I can feel it, then hell, I'm glad that you can feel it too. But if I know I'm feeling like, you know, the moment, like you said, of seeing Prince and then like seeing or hearing Purple Rain being played and seeing that moment, it was so special to do that exhibit, or, you know, just things that are timely, because music is not static. It's, we have to be like in the social justice exhibit, Nina Simone, inductee of 2018, we have to be artists that are reflecting the times. And truly, our museum needs to be reflective of that. Music is always the sound of a revolution, of a time, of a period. That's why there's new music being created. So we need to reflect that in the Rock Hall. Yes, we celebrate legacy. We're here to preserve it, collect it, share it, educate, inspire with it, and all of that. But we also need to be reflective of what is happening right now across the board of rock and roll. And rock and roll needs to be, I mean, that definition of what it is. It's not just rock music.
Right.
Rock and roll. Okay. So it's like, it's the collective of those things, is that duality that it shares. You don't get to rock without blues and gospel and R&B and hip hop and jazz.
Right.
Which is often left out of the narrative. So it's like, you don't get to that. You don't get to all those things and have rock and roll. Right. It's not an isolated incident. So, you know, so I love that we get to tell those stories, and we're doing more of it. So that's what I'm here for. And whatever else happens, like, yes, we got NFTs dropping. I mean, it's a whole new.
That's a whole other thing.
That's a whole other thing. We're the first museum to be like featuring it. Kings of Leon was the first band to ever do that in history, of music history. We have it at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. So, I mean, it's,
you gotta keep moving. Like, you gotta, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, art, and especially music, is, and like I said, that exhibit I went to, and now you just mentioned two more, I'm gonna go to those two. Yes. But it was like, I don't think I've ever felt like that at a, and I'm glad it was just me there, because I was like, what is wrong with this lady? And anybody knows me know how much I love Prince, and to see his little outfit, I was like, I wasn't ready for this.
Yeah.
I mean, I literally was like, and act like I knocked something over, and I see it on the wall. And I just couldn't. And so then the music, like you said, it evoked an emotion, because I remember that Super Bowl. And I sat there and watched that video twice, and I have the attention span of a fruit fly. So I just stood and watched.
Not a fruit fly, Dru.
It's bad, but I stood there. And you know, so it's a great exhibit. And so Cleveland is free. It's free for you residents of Cleveland. So you have no excuse.
None. And it's here until the top of the year. So you have until January 2nd to check it out. So
anytime. Yeah. So now we're gonna music is my favorite. History is something I'm into. But now we're gonna get into my favorite about the garments and the accessories and all that cool stuff. I mean, one thing I always noticed is how tiny everybody was. That's one thing I noticed. But how do you all acquire some of those pieces? So is it something like when I want to talk about so and so, is it just a box you get, or do you say, hey, do you have this particular dress from this picture? Like the Donna Summer thing was great. I read about that, and that's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah,
so you should put the dress in there that she made. I thought that was just so cool. So how do you all determine what's cool to go in there and what's not going to work, so it won't be a museum full of clothes, you know?
Right. Well, that's the great thing of having like a team of curators, having archivists, having a team of librarians where you can like really research the history of a piece to, you know, really, I mean, get down to the nitty gritty, like you said, with the Donna Summer piece, which is a perfect example. Like she sewed, like, you know, she sewed, like, so she was a seamstress, okay? Like many of her costumes, she sewed them herself. But again, that was like coming through, I learned those stories, you know, through her family or through her assistants, people who closely worked with her, or to even see her own label, you know, in her clothing, you know, like to see that and to hear these stories about her sewing or making artwork. She also was an artist. So she has these big art murals and pieces. It's like, wow, Donna Summer. But again, that's us getting and developing and building relationships with, you know, either the artist or the estate or whoever is managing their collection. It can come in a variety of ways, though, how we secure a piece. You have private collectors who buy artifacts. So, you know, about, you know, Sotheby's and like these different auction houses across the world that sell memorabilia and sell artifacts. So we can acquire things privately through that way. And you know, and obviously the whole provenance, meaning like where it's from and how it's made and what medium and et cetera, like all of that is collected. So whenever we're getting any piece, there's never, ever a question of its authenticity. We might have maybe a facsimile, meaning like we have a copy out on view because maybe the original is in a delicate condition or something. So we're preserving it, but we still want to put this piece out. For instance, we have Jimi Hendrix's Purple Haze lyrics, his handwritten lyrics. That's something where we may say, hey, we may simile out of this because we're preserving this piece of music history and it's significant. So, but it's never a question of, oh, is this fake? Is this real? Is this? Never. So, you know, so for anyone who's asking like, oh, is this even? Yes, it's too legit to quit. Okay. Hey.
People have asked that. People have asked if something is fake.
Yeah, I've had people ask. Yeah, for sure. And just, you know, like, is this real? It's like, yes, this is really Michael Jackson's glove. Like, yeah, that's MJ's glove.
Weird. I would definitely.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
Okay. So you lived in LA before.
Yes.
So moving, and I lived in LA before also. So I want to hear your answer. This would be great.
Okay.
So moving from LA to Cleveland, besides our crazy weather, what has been like the biggest surprise about our city that you're like, oh, okay, Cleveland is?
The summers, like right now, like I love Cleveland summers. Just how green it is, because when I like first moved here, I did move here in the winter and I had my interview in like the fall, like, so I saw it when the weather was you know, pretty bad, but I'm happy I moved here in the winter because I never lived through any winter. So to go through that, I was like, I loved it. I was like, oh my God, it's snowing outside. Like this is great. Like other than going to Big Bear and artificial snow, you know, seeing that. I never lived in the snow or ever lived in sea. So I was enamored. Girl, I bought all kind of boots. My fashion changed. I was like, I get to finally wear boots and it not be silly. So it was, you know, really wearing a leather coat for real, like because it really is, you know, it's cold.
You were right by the lake too, so you got the winter.
Lake effect.
And people here looking at you like, you're like, yeah. And we're like, okay. Yeah.
Exactly.
Woo,
No,
okay.
but I loved it. I absolutely love the summertime, but I love how green it is. And I also love, so I've been cycling here. Like that was a thing that I wanted to do
Yes.
madly and badly. I've also started roller skating here and
Oh,
playing tennis
okay.
more actively. Yes. And biking, I was like, our metro parks. Shout out to Cleveland Metro Parks,
Woo,
one
woo.
of the best in the country. I mean, the trails are absolutely amazing. So I love our metro parks. So yeah,
And
I was just shocked. I mean, by the music culture here, the history, finding out about Caramoo House, like the history and significance of our art and
mhm.
our I was just like, what? Or even like Lakewood, understanding like the significance of that park, slaves escaping to
Yeah,
Canada,
yeah,
the Underground Railroad. Like, I was just like, no. I mean, we got Toni Morrison, we got Halle Berry, we
yeah,
got John Legend, like just Ohio on its own.
yeah.
Like,
We
here,
got
this
some,
is
we
such
got
an
some.
excellent Leo's Casino. I mean, we have major gems here. Like I love like Cleveland is, you're gonna get me emotional. I love Cleveland.
Oh, good.
I absolutely love it. This is my new headquarters. I've been
Okay,
saying so.
all right. I
Yes.
mean, it's, the cost of living is a little bit cool too,
And
but
it's amazing. Look, you already know.
yeah, because I remember those days.
LA yeah, no, it's been great. I love it here. And
Good.
I love Cleveland. Yeah, it's
And
great.
most people here are pretty laid back. We're pretty laid back and welcoming
The
and
food is good.
oh, we're a big old fatty city.
Oh my
All our
God, the
restaurants.
food is
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
This is where I first had pizza and honey on it here.
Oh
I was like, oh,
yeah, yeah. We
oh,
real greedy. We real
put me
greedy.
on.
We real
Yeah.
greedy. So, um, the induction is a big thing with Cleveland.
Yes.
We alternate with New York, but we've already shown that we can do big events. We can do the NFL draft. We did the Republican convention. We're about to do the
Yes.
All-Star
NBA All
game.
Stars.
Yeah, so
Yes.
we've shown. I mean, I thought the NFL draft was excellent. The way that whole period, they did
Wasn't it
such an amazing job.
historic for us? Like the first city to do a large event of that scale post pandemic. That
We
was the
did it.
first big event we had as a nation.
We
Like
killed
that
it.
was, and we did it in Cleveland. It was a beautiful event.
It was.
Yeah, I
It
agree
really
with you.
was. It was.
Yeah,
So with that
yeah.
being said, how much of an effect do you think it would be if we get every year we get our inductions in Cleveland? So we're doing it
Right?
every other, right?
Mm-hmm,
So
mm-hmm.
we're showing that we can do it. So how much more of effect would you think it would have on the Rock Hall once we get it every year? If we get it every year.
If we get it every year, I don't know. And that one is above me. That's Rock Hall that's the foundation side of things.
Yeah.
But if I had to speculate though, I would say because the foundation, like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame as an entity itself was established in New York.
Mm-hmm.
So like we have to give that, I think that's just a respect thing. Right. I feel like the foundation is in New York. That's where this organization was founded, in the physical determination of Cleveland. Like it will always be then, maybe there's an off year like how it was in LA. And oddly, talk about alignment and serendipity. I remember going to that induction in 2013 or 14 when Public Enemy was inducted, and it was in LA. And so like that was my first time experiencing it there. So unless there's like an anomaly or a special year where it takes it to another city, I would always see it happening in New York and LA, just on respect, and Cleveland, we're good for respect out here. Like
we will.
And
that's a good explanation, because I always wonder why it went back and forth. I know they had the museum there, and but that's a good. We'll let them have it.
Look.
We got other stuff.
Yes, right.
We got other stuff.
But it's great that it's coming back, at least, because this would technically be the alternate year for it to go back to New York. Right. So the fact that we're getting a chance, since we missed having induction here in 2020, we missed all of our things, our conventions, our festivals, all of that, canceled. Cancel culture. The universe cancel culture us.
Sit down.
Shoot, forget us cancel culture. The universe is like cancel culture, you're out. So the fact that we're able to bring this back, bring it back and do it here in Cleveland this year is so special at Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse. I am so excited. It's at the arena. Tickets are on sale now on rocketmortgagefieldhouse.com.
Okay.
Buy your tickets there. You can see all the tiers of where you can buy seats. And I mean, I think they're going as low as $65 to $4,000. I mean, it's a slew, it's a range. I mean, and you have to remember, like, look, any other award show, this would not be happening. Like there's no public access to the Grammys. There is no public access to the Oscars. So Cleveland, don't get greedy. Don't sleep on it. Okay. Right. Pay the ticket because typically this is a closed event. Right. Like you are getting to see musical excellence at its finest. So if your ticket is $150, so be it. It's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Right. Like we're honoring Tina Turner, Jay-Z, the Foo Fighters, Carole King, Gil Scott-Heron, Clarence Avant, I mean, Randy Rhoads, Charlie Patton. What are you talking about? Go sit down.
Pay the money and go sit down.
Pay the ticket, do what you can, but pay the ticket because this is history being made. This is history being made. So LL Cool J, let me not forget it. So, I mean, this is going to be epic. It's going to be epic. October 30th. Support it. No, it's really going to be a beautiful thing for the city. And there's a whole induction week full of celebrations. So those things will be announced closer to the date. But your tickets, get them now. rocketmortgagefieldhouse.com. Tickets will be released on SeatGeek. All of that information you can also find out on rockhall.com. So make sure you check that out for all of the details. But look, we're here. It's happening. The city about to be popping.
Turn it up. We're going to
turn it up.
Yeah. So thank you so much. So we got all this going on with the Rock Hall. We got these cool exhibits. We got the ones that opened up, the Janis Joplin.
The garage. Yes, Janis Joplin.
The garage.
And Jerry Garcia. Let me tell you, we got another NFT dropping too. So Jerry Garcia, for those Grateful Dead fans, for the Deadheads, with celebrating his birth and death, like it's a whole Deadhead. If you're a Deadhead, you know about it. So we're celebrating this exhibit on August 5th. I mean, so we're doing a whole lot right now. This summer is real. This week is real lit.
Catching up
at the Rock Hall.
Catching up.
So if you're in Cleveland, like you said, it's free. It's free if you're in Cleveland.
Come on down.
Check it out.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for coming, talking to me, and I got some reason to come down. As long as we got our 12 days of the summer.
We good.
Yeah, I'm because so this is we don't have any rain, but I thank you so much. So
Drew, it is
we'll
my
see you down
pleasure. Oh, yes. Thank you so much.
Now my bike, I'm gonna be outside, like, come on.
Yes.
I got my bike.
Got your bike, catch you outside. It's on. It's on. It's on like Donkey Kong. Let's go. Thank you so much for having me, though. It's an honor, and truly, just whenever, like, I'm here for it. Whenever you need anything from the Rock Hall, Drew, let me know, and I'll be coming to you. Sign up for the class. Sewing.
I'm gonna bring my kids, I think. I bought my kids down one year, but I might bring them again whenever.
Let me know when you come. Let me know when you decide to come. I would love to try to be there when you're there.
That would be cool, because they need to see that.
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna stop for the recording, and then I'm gonna do something right quick.
All right.
No, I didn't mean to do that.